Good evening and welcome to 365 Days of Stories with Theo Mayer. Here we are on day 162 and I'm continuing the stories from 1001 Arabian Nights. And we're hearing the story of the second calendar. Remember, he'd been turned into a monkey by the angry genie who had flown up into the air with him, far, far into the air, and then come zooming down and landed on the ground in a place that, well, the prince had no idea where he was. The genie took some dirt, made some incantations over it, threw it into the face of the prince, and in a moment he had turned into a monkey or an ape, a large monkey, and the genie was gone, saying as he went, "This is what you get for tampering with me." There's nothing to be done. The prince was now a monkey. What was he to do? He found himself in a land he did not recognize. It was a broad plain, bounded on one side by a huge body of water, which he took to be the ocean or the sea. He made his way along this flat plain and eventually reached a place where there were some trees and the land began to rise up, and they are hilly. There in the waters, he saw a rather large boat, many people on board on the deck. Was it anchor? Well, he decided that he would try to get to that boat. So he found a broken branch and drug it down to the shore, and straddling it, he began to paddle with his hands in the water, like someone on a surfboard, and slowly made his way to this ship. Now, the people, once they saw him, once one person saw him, caught the attention of everyone else, and everyone began to look over the side of the vessel toward this monkey that was straddling a log and paddling out toward them. All eyes were on him. When he reached the ship, he grabbed hold of a rope that was dangling off the side and swung himself up onto the deck. But he may have just found himself from one deadly situation with the genie into another. For once he was on the deck, the commotion from the sailors became intense because they thought that this monkey would bring them bad luck, ill luck. "Get a hammer and hit him on the head, throw him overboard. String him up and get rid of him. Throw him in. Men began to clamor about the monkey. And the monkey quickly recognized where the captain was standing, and dashing over to him, got down on his knees and grasped the captain's ankles, pleading basically through his body's communication to be saved and protected. Well, the captain was taken by the monkey's behavior and said that no one could hurt him, and he would be under his protection. Well, the ship eventually weighed anchor and got on its way. And after many weeks of travel, they arrived at another land. And as they were coming in, boats from the shore began to row out to them. Some had come because they had relatives or friends on board. Others had come just out of curiosity to see this large vessel pulling into port. But there was one boat that had many official-looking men on board. And when they came up to the vessel, they were welcomed on board, and the head of these official-looking men said, "We are here in search of one thing." The captain asked what that was. "Well," the head man said, "the Grand Vizier of our Sultan recently died, and he was, well, an excellent writer. His handwriting, well, none could compare. The Sultan is interviewing everyone to see if he can find a replacement, because he very much appreciated and loved having one like his Grand Vizier, who could write beautifully, not only in the way that the writing looked, but by its word as well. So the Sultan has asked that each one of you newcomers here, each merchant that is here, please write a line or two so the Sultan can see if, by your abilities, you may earn the position." Well, one by one, this piece of parchment paper was passed around to the merchants, and each one wrote a line upon it. When all were finished, the monkey dashed up and grabbed the paper. At first, everyone was afraid the monkey would throw it into the water, but he showed through his behavior that he was holding it with respect, and when he beckoned for a writing utensil, the captain said, "Give it to him. For if he is as wise as I think he is, writing may not be difficult for him at all." Well, the monkey took the pen up and wrote 6 different lines representing the six dialects of Arabic that were spoken at that time. When he was finished, everyone on board who had witnessed this act were astonished by what they had seen. Well, the official-looking men, once the monkey had finished, they took the parchment paper and rolled it up, got back on their boat, rowed to shore, and made their way back to the palace of the Sultan to present this paper. And when they did, the Sultan, when he saw the lines that had been written by the monkey, he said nothing except to have this man, whoever he may be, brought to me as quickly as possible. For it is true that no one had ever seen writing so exquisite as what had been written by the monkey. Well, the official men who'd gone on board the vessel just began to laugh, and they apologized for their laughter. But they said, "Your Majesty, you must understand that no man at all wrote these lines." "Well, then who did?" asked the Sultan. "It was a monkey that wrote these lines." "A monkey?" said the Sultan. "Well, monkey or man, have him brought here immediately. Go." So the official-looking men, they took their leave and quickly went on their way with the instructions from the Sultan that they were to take with them a most beautiful garment for this monkey to wear and the most finely caparisoned horse in the stable. Well, off they went to the ship. They rowed back out to it. They gave the captain the news. They donned the monkey with this beautiful garment that they had brought along. He was placed in the boat, back to shore, onto the horse, and back to the palace of the Sultan. Well, the Sultan was amazed because when the monkey came into his presence, the monkey bowed down in the most polite way, as polite as any man ever had. The monkey knew how to present himself, and so he did in the most delicate fashion. In all ways, presenting himself before a sovereign in the way that would have been appropriate for a man, save speaking words to him. Well, the Sultan was very taken by this. He had everyone at his court dismissed, beside a young slave and the head of the eunuchs. These two men stayed. Now, he called for food, and he asked the monkey to join him at the dinner table. The monkey bowed down and kissed the ground, and then put his hand on his head to signify that he was thankful and agreed. So they sat down to table together, and the monkey ate delicately and with moderation. Afterwards, the monkey called for a piece of parchment paper and wrote some beautiful things about the Sultan to the Sultan and gave him this paper. The Sultan, once again, was very amazed. And then the monkey wrote something on a peach and then on a glass. The Sultan was amazed beyond compare. Afterwards, they played chess together, the Sultan winning the first game, the monkey winning the second too. Sultan was clearly not very happy about this, and so the monkey wrote his condolences on a piece of paper and gave it to the Sultan. Sultan was so taken by this that he thought, I have to have my daughter see this incredible monkey. I've never seen anything like it. So he had the head of the eunuchs go off and get his daughter. She was beautiful. And when she entered into the room, she quickly put her veil across her face. And her father looked at her and said, "What are you doing? Why are you covering yourself? Only in this room is me, the slave who is your servant as well, and the head of the eunuchs. Why would you cover yourself?" "Father," she said, "what are you saying? Here you've brought me into the room with a man, a stranger. What are you talking about?" said the Sultan. "Well, this monkey that you see before you is no monkey at all. This is really a man who has been put into this form by a wicked genie, the son of the daughter of Elbis." "My," said the Sultan. Now, Scheherazade, of course, stopped the story there, as we will as well. And we'll pick up tomorrow where we have finished and see what happens next in this incredible story of the second calendar. Thanks for joining. Have a good rest of your day or evening.